Dr. Max here. Well, I just got these lab results from a patient today, and I thought they were a perfect example of something that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to quick make a video for all of you. This is through Cyrex Labs. This is their food sensitivity panel, their array to see how the body and the immune system are reacting to foods. So for this person, you can see um, they're reacting to quite a lot of foods. They take a sample of your blood, they get that serum, and they expose it to all these different food proteins, these different antigens to see if your immune system is, producing a relatively muted, normal response, like, oh, that's just a food, we don't have to worry about that, or if it's leading to inflammation. And we can see for this individual, dairy and eggs showing up, grains showing up, beans, legumes. Just look at all of these foods that are off the charts, creating inflammation. Very few, almost no foods in the green, sort of like, oh, this is just a food category. This immune system is responding to just about everything. So this is what we call a loss of oral tolerance, where the body is producing the inflammation to basically anything you take in. And so it begs the question, why is that happening? And we have to start looking at some of those deeper causes. Recently, with this person, we did a GI map, which is a stool test to check out their microbiome, and a few things showed up. They were missing a very beneficial species called Akkermansia muciniphila. This is considered a keystone species that should be present in a healthy human gut, and that was missing. Akkermansia is very important for helping to maintain a healthy mucus barrier in your lining of the gut to keep the food and the stool and the microbes separate from your digestive lining and digestive tract. That was missing. Very important. We need that one. There were a couple of opportunistic overgrowths. You can see Morganella here and Streptococcus. These are ones that will overgrow if they're given a chance, if there's an opening in a niche that's not being taken up, say like Akkermansia or some of these other beneficial things, or if your gut is inflamed or imbalanced, or your digestion isn't functioning the way it should, or you're dealing with a lot of stress. We also see the presence of Citrobacter freundii. This was close to being overgrown. The GI map didn't consider it like a red flag because it wasn't high enough for them to consider it overgrown. But when you're looking at a microbiome test, you're trying to add all of these clues together, right, to give you an overall picture of what's going on. Citrobacter freundii is associated with inflammation and with some autoimmune issues. And there were multiple species that were also present, not at really high levels, but they're also associated with inflammation and possible autoimmunity. So when you add all these pieces together, you can see there are some essential things we're missing. There are multiple overgrowths of different species, some of which are associated with more inflammation or more issues down the road. We also had a couple markers of intestinal health and inflammation that were on the low end that we don't want to see low. One was elastase 1. This is a marker of how well the body, the upper digestion, is producing things like pancreatic enzymes. See, we need stomach acid, we need pancreatic enzymes, we need bile from the liver gallbladder, all to help break down food and make sure we're absorbing nutrients. And so elastase 1 means that this person is not producing enough pancreatic enzymes. They need a little bit of support there with their meals. They also had low secretory IgA. Secretory IgA is an immunoglobulin, an antibody produced by the immune system in the gut that basically helps you create an environment of more tolerance. We need secretory IgA to bind to a lot of microbes, molds, all sorts of different things going through the gut so that rather than sticking to you and adhering to you or even getting through the lining of the intestine, these things just continue moving on and they go out in the stool. So when you have low secretory IgA, that means the immune system is not functioning as it should. We're not generating enough of an immune response to the microbes in the gut and this imbalance here. So when we combine all of this together, a loss of oral tolerance, all these foods are creating inflammation. We're not producing enough enzymes, or the immune system is not responding well enough to these overgrowths of different types of microbes, and we're even missing some of the essential microbes for a balanced human microbiome. We want to see why, right? So with this person, what we're going to be doing is trying to figure out, are we dealing with a really leaky gut, intestinal permeability, or are we dealing with something called metabolic endotoxemia, where all of the waste products from the microbes in the microbiome are getting through and causing inflammation and havoc throughout the body. It's really toxic for the body when that gets through. And this is really important for long-term health because if it turns out this person has a really leaky gut, is dealing with things like metabolic endotoxemia and has lost oral tolerance. Their immune system is just responding to all sorts of different foods. That can be a precursor to all sorts of autoimmune conditions because the immune system's already confused. It's trying to create inflammation to food. It should be having a relatively muted normal response to food, right? That's just food. We don't need to worry about that. It's treating those foods as a threat, which means that it's more likely that the immune system can then become confused and start to treat our own tissues as a threat. It can lead to things like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune gastritis. The road goes on and on. So I just wanted to share this quick as a great example of why doing these types of advanced testing is really important and how that can help to pinpoint and identify the root causes for you if you're dealing with chronic digestive issues. My name is Dr. Max. I work at Maximal Wellness, my own clinic, and I help people with chronic digestive issues like SIBO, IBS, IMO, acid reflux, determine the root causes of those issues, and develop a customized plan with some ongoing coaching and education to help not only, find those causes, but develop a plan that'll help to give you the relief and resolve these long-term issues that you've been dealing with for so long. All right. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. Or if you know somebody who could really benefit from this information, feel free to pass it along. Have a great day.